All right, Jim, Kinder Morgan buys El Paso for just over $20 billion. Is this kind of a green light to buy natural gas and hold it for like 10, 15 years here?
Not natural gas, no. No, it has nothing to do with natural gas. It has to do with, I mean, the pricing of natural gas. As a matter of fact, as long as natural gas stays low in price, that's why you do these deals. I think that Rich Kinder is saying, look, natural gas is going to be the fuel of the future. Fuel of the future because it's greener, fuel of the future because of the price differential, fuel of the future because of the remarkable amount that we have. You got to get the pipelines to where it's being discovered, which Rich doesn't have. He's got, well, he has Eagle Ford, but Marcellus is going to be very, very big. The drilling is just endless there. You also need to have a pipeline system ready for the adoption of natural gas, liquefied natural gas, compressed natural gas as surface fuels. And Rich needs to have the crisscrossing the nation. If natural gas were flying and would still be unreliable, I don't think he would do that. This is a long-term statement that natural gas is going to be our fuel. And it'll be our fuel. Get rid of heating oil. Our fuel, as coal is being restricted by the EPA, even though they just made things a little bit easier for the utilities, not that much. And also recognition that that a Cheniere Energy or that a Kitma, these are two places where we expect natural gas to be exported. You want to fuel those. You want to have pipelines to that. You have pipelines to the Gulf, and we build terminals to export liquefied natural gas. Even if it's a couple of bucks added, so $3.50 goes to say $5.50. Remember, they're selling it at 16 in Japan, and nuclear has had a major setback with Fukushima. So natural gas will be, our president's going to be dragged kicking and screaming, and it's certainly he is the obstacle because the Pickens plan has enough support. And he's not, he's an obstacle because he's green president. And I understand that. I mean, I understand that there's a big issue involving this Keystone pipeline, which would bring oil from Canada that is bitumen, that is tar sands. And I think he's going to be under gun to veto that. Let's understand that the president, as between creation of jobs and environment, is very much of a push, and he doesn't want to alienate the Greens, even though the Greens are going to vote for him versus any Republican. But he has bottled up nat gas, and the people who are in favor of nat gas just don't like to talk about that because they don't want to alienate him.
Right. I was going to ask, how much do we need Washington to get behind this? Because I was talking to the CEO of Devon, who said, what we really need is private sector to really get behind it by.
Well, there's not enough money.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough money. I think that Westport, which is up nicely, WPRT, has the engines that would make it so that you could switch to natural gas. I know Boone Pickens has been saying, look, it doesn't. He's been a seller of clean energy, CLNE, got a chain of natural gas gas stations. Why? Because without the incentive to switch trucks, even though natural gas is so much cheaper, there's a belief that maybe it's not worth it for the trucking companies, and it would cost $5 billion over 5 years. That's the estimate. But without a definitive policy that says nat gas is okay, it's really very difficult to think that this can take hold in this country versus others.
And what do you do with Kinder Morgan stock then, based on that?
Well, there's a lot of Kinder Morgans.
Right.
KMI I don't want to own because it doesn't have the yield that I like. Kinder Morgan Partners, KMP, is the Kinder Morgan Energy is the one I like.
Okay.
I was very worried that they would have to be stretching their cash flow to be able to continue to increase the dividend. That's now off the table, and you can get that 5 going to 7% distribution increase, which makes it my favorite name. Take a look at MarkWest, MWE. That is another pipeline company that's to the Marcellus. If Rich Kinder thinks the Marcellus is important, then it's important.
All right, thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. And for more of Jim's stock picks, you can always check out CramersPicks.com.